everyone, and welcome back to Liz Sews. Today I have for you guys my September makes video. I have to say this is a little bit like a swan in here. This room is an absolute disaster. I'm getting ready and packing for a trip, and laundry is everywhere and stuff is everywhere, but I just wanted to take a little bit of a time to show you guys what I was up to this month. I actually got a lot of work done. I got everything that I planned on and a bra, and I finished my coat. So let me show you. First off, I have what I'm wearing, and that is a McCall's 6696, and I'm using this Lady McElroy elephant print that I received from Minerva.com. I hemmed and hawed a lot about what to make with this, and as I think you'll remember from my plans video, and the first thing I wanted to make was a shirt. So, and I can't remember the shirt pattern, so I will pop it up here post editing. So I made that shirt, and here it is. I didn't finish it. It has no buttons on it because once I made it, it was not what I wanted it to be, and I will sort of pop in a video of me wearing it over here. You can sort of see I really wanted something like the pattern envelope that could tie around the waist and have that like sort of menswear inspired boxiness to it, and this just was weird. The collar is ginormous, like the points in this collar, and then I just felt like it was a little too busy in the fabric, so I never got buttons put onto this, so I set it aside, and instead I made this McCall's 6696, and I absolutely love how this one turned out. I actually got a 12 out of this pattern. I think the last one I made was a 14, and it was a little bit loose, so I did a 12. I did a sway back adjustment. I also reduced the amount of gathers in the back just because it gets really poofy, and then it's hard to wear a cardigan over top. So I think with less gathers, I kept a little bit in just because I kind of like that design element, but less of them so it wasn't as poofy. I went with the, I think it's View A, that is sleeveless, obviously, and I think that it works with this. I was just, again, concerned with the elephant fabric being so busy. I didn't want to overwhelm myself with it. And then this is the first time I've ever added the carriage loops that are included in the pattern, and I think they turned out really well, and I like how it keeps that belt really situated exactly where it needs to be on the dress. So pretty happy with how this turned out, and even though the shirt was kind of a fail, at least I did get one garment out of it that was highly successful. So the next dress that I finished was this Very Easy Vogue 9182, and this was supposed to be my like if I have time dress, so I'm really happy that I did get time because I absolutely love how it turned out. It is coming with me on the trip. I am going to wear it and love it. So when I was making it, the colors of this just made me absolutely happy. I loved this green and these purples and the blue tones. It just really made me happy when I was making it. So this fabric actually was a gift from my mom, and I want to say it's a Robert Kaufman like painted batik. So it's intended to look sort of like gingham. That was the only thing that was a little difficult to work with it, is that even though it looks like gingham and it has these like semi-straight lines on it, they definitely were not on grain. So it's like it's a hand painted sort of effect. So it kind of has like a all over the place look to it, like stripes are going every which way. There was no way I was ever going to be able to pattern match, and it also didn't have like a mirrored repeat across the width of the fabric. So I tried to do as much as I could, and you can see in this video when I sort of fan out the skirt that I tried to match down the center of the skirt, but as soon as I let it go, the stripes are going every which way. But I still think it looks really nice. I love the effect that it has, and I was really happy because when I unwrapped all this fabric, I actually had 5 meters instead of, or 5 yards instead of 4, so I was able to get the longer skirt version out, which is the one that I really wanted to make. So I cut this one, let's see, I didn't write down, I think I cut out a 14, and I did a 1/2 inch seam on the side, thinking that I needed a little bit more space than a 14, but now having worn it, I think I probably could just do a straight 14. I don't think I needed that extra inch or whatever that gives me. I went ahead and used shell buttons on here. I wasn't quite sure which to go with because there were so many colors in the dress, but I think the shell buttons really pick up a lot of those different colors. I did break one of them when I was putting this together. They are kind of fragile, and I like to put my dresses through the washing machine. I don't dry them, but I definitely put them through the washing machine. But these shell buttons are really cheap. I think Joann's charges $3.99 for a pack of 50, so I figured I can always easily replace them if another one breaks or I have to. But really excited how that turned out, and just a good sort of not that complicated summer dress to wear. So I think there's definitely going to be more of this pattern in my future. So next up I have the Wanted Tee. I want to say this is a 44, and I think that looks like pretty good. I mean, it's tight but not like clingy. The only thing I would change about it is I would probably want to do like cuffs, like the Renfrew top around the arms and the waistband, just because I think that finishes a little bit better than turning and zigzagging, because that just, I don't know, I just don't like the finish on that too much. But I really like the neckline on this. I actually put it on and Tony said it was I think he said it was the most favorite thing I've ever made so far or lately, something like that. But I think it turned out really, really well. I think this neckline is fairly flattering, and so I'm really happy that I got this pattern to work for me, and so I will make some more in the future. I want to say I think I did the 3/4 sleeve, so it comes with short sleeves, like it says vintage length, but I think it's like elbow length, and then 3/4. I could probably stand to have it be a little longer to be 3/4 on me. This comes off as more vintage length, but I think that should be a very easy adjustment to make, and just lengthen that a little bit longer. But I'm very happy with the neckline on this, and it wasn't nearly as difficult as I thought it was going to be, so not too bad. And the directions are in French, but I could pretty much figure out what it was telling me to do just by the pictures alone, so I didn't have any issues with that. So the last garment I have to show you is Vogue 8346. I know I talked about this in my plans video, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to really get to it, probably just cut it out. I finished it. So it took me 2 days to make, I want to say, and that's with tracing out the pattern, cutting it, and sewing it up. 2 days. Once it was sewn up, it was obnoxiously too big, and so then it took me another day to alter it. The fit is not perfect, but I think it's close enough where I would feel comfortable wearing this. So I made a 16 in this pattern, and that's what my measurements always put me at, is the 16. And I'm fully aware that Big 4 patterns have a lot of ease in them, but when I looked at the finished garments measurements, I didn't think it had that much ease. And obviously because it's a coat, I wanted to have some ease in there, because you want to wear sweaters and stuff like that underneath it. So that's why I went with the 16. And I'm actually really glad that I traced it out. I don't normally trace out my paper patterns like this, my Big 4 patterns, because they're so inexpensive for me. But I was really annoyed because they put all of the views overlaid on top of each other, and because I was making the shortest view, I didn't want to chop off the ability to ever make a long coat out of the pattern. So that's why I traced it. So I bought the pattern set that had 12, 14, 16, so I think I might even go down to a 12 the next time I make it. So I ended up taking 4 inches out of the torso, so 2 on each side, and then I continued that 2 inches down the entire length of the arm that I took off. So each arm has 2 inches taken out, and then 2 inches aside, 4 total. And I actually I did it properly. Like, I unpicked the underarm as well as the around the wrist, and took it in, and then took in the lining, and then attached everything back together again. So I was feeling really virtuous of myself for doing that level of alterations, because normally when I make something and it doesn't fit, it just goes into a pile for charity shop. But I really, really wanted this to fit, and the wool came from Minerva.com, so I have to write a blog post about it. So I wanted it to at least be something that I was confident in and was proud to share with other people. So fitting problems aside, I really, really liked the pattern. I thought it came together well. Everything matched up nicely. I really liked the way that the collar was formed, because I made a lot of, not a lot, but a handful of notched collars in the past on blazers, and it's always really tricky for me getting that point to work and not have a giant hole in it. So this one's a little different. The the collar and this sort of like lapel are separate pieces, and they're just sandwiched between the outer shell and the lining. So when you sew those two together, those are in there. So it's sort of like a camp style shirt that doesn't have a collar stand. That would be the most similar way I could say to how that is construction, but it made it a lot easier. And especially with this heavy bulky wool, I thought it was a much better technique, and I really wish I could use this on more things. So I might go back and try to like finagle my blazer pattern to work with a color like this, because I think it's a lot easier for me. I think the real star of this obviously is that flare out waist. I think it looks really pretty and has sort of a vintage-esque look to it. And I do like that it has the center seam down the back as well to give you a lot of really nice shaping. So the back is 4 pieces, and then the front is 4 pieces as well, cut with princess seams. So there's a lot of opportunities to fit this when you're making it for yourself. Of course, I didn't use any of those. You know, I put it together and then I top stitched down all of my seams. So the only seam I had available for taking in was the side seams, because I hadn't top stitched those because of the inseam pocket. So if I were to make it this, again, like I said, I would definitely choose a smaller size, and I would highly recommend that you guys check your fit before you like get all the way into it. Just the only sort of area I went rogue with on this pattern was the fastening in the front. They expected you to just use snaps and then put some fake buttons on the front, and I don't particularly like that finish. So I did an actual double-breasted front. So I have two pairs of buttons on either side, and then two pairs of buttonholes next to them, so I could wear it either way. It buttons up and is functional no matter what side is in front. Now, this is sort of a unique month for me because I only made one bra, and that bra is a Black Beauty bra, which I'm sure will come as a surprise to no one. So this one I had made a little bit of alterations. So I'm trying to lose weight, hopefully. It's a slow and steady process. I think I've lost maybe 5 pounds in 2 months, but you know, I'm going to do it the right way, and I'm going to do it in a way that is sustainable long term. So making changes in my lifestyle versus like dieting per se. But one problem with that is that even with the minimal weight loss of 5 pounds, my bras are not fitting properly. So one of the things that's really been uncomfortable for the bras lately is that my sternum is sticking out a lot further, or there's more bone and less flesh on top of the sternum. So the full length wires, which come up here on me, are starting to poke in, because I don't know if you guys have noticed it. You can probably see here, but like this bone sticks out further than what most people's do. So the wires are starting to poke in on the top there. So I not redid, but like sort of worked on the drafting of my Black Beauty pattern to make it use plunge style wires. And what I've done is just sort of like turned that top piece into more of a triangle pie. So it ends in a very sharp point instead of, I think it's supposed to be like a solid line all the way across. So I kept all of the length that I had up under the arm, and then just cut away until I got to a plunge style wire. And I have worn this one for a day, and it is significantly more comfortable than my other ones that I have, which is kind of a pity because I have some really gorgeous bras, but I'm not going to get rid of them. I think that my weight fluctuates a lot, so it's very possible that I could go back to using them in the future. But I think for now, at least the next couple of bras I'm going to make, I'm going to really focus on adding that plunge style wire in there, just because it's a lot more comfortable for me. So that is everything that I've made in the month of September, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing everything, and I will see you next time. Take care.